do an unbagging of Command Magazine, issue 20. This is from January to February 1993. Command dealt with military history, strategy, and analysis. In this edition came the game Cortes, Conquest of the Aztec Empire. Also says down here, also inside Sword of Allah, Blood for Oil, and Summer of 42. Now, I picked this up for two reasons. Number one, it was relatively cheap on Noble Knight, and I think I used Ardwolf Slayer's code, or one of those. I might have got this during their anniversary. And then the game. I kind of have this massive grid that someday I might share with y'all. Keeping track of all the major battles and wars and conflicts throughout time. It's by no means complete, but it's kind of my guide sheet on trying to figure out where I have holes. I'm not trying to do every battle ever done, but some of the major ones and see if there's coverage for it. And so this kind of fills a niche for me in that covers the Cortes conquest of the Aztec Empire. So that's one reason why I picked this up. But let's get in the bag here and see what we get from this. I have a few Command. I think this is the first Command magazine I've done on my channel. I have a few of these in my collection. And as I said, I normally take out the rules if it's easy to take them out, and then put them in a clear envelope with the counters bagged and the map, and then I kind of keep it off in a bin separate, and then I put the magazines on the shelf. One thing about Command, I don't have a ton of these, but one of the things they do is they have the rules separate. They have like a game supplement, so they'll put these out separately. I don't know if they did that in every single game they did, but there's a few of them that I have that have this, and that's really nice. It saves me from having to rip them out of the magazine themselves. But let's do the old magazine page turn first here of Command Magazine. This is from 1993, and the editor was Ty Bomba, who is now, I believe, the editor of Paper Wars, which is kind of a dedicated to Compass Games, or at least is owned by Compass Games now. And you got a little bit of stuff about who the historical preference and all that, notes from the editor, yada yada. So they have some articles here on weapons, on different armies. So these are nice little vignettes here, and this is about history. So even though this magazine's from 1993, hey, it's probably still good, right? It is interesting though sometimes when you look at these and then new information comes out, like especially magazines that dealt with modern conflict, like the now defunct Modern War from Decision Games. We might cover a piece and that information might go stale, right? Because it's dealing with current or the best they know at the time. This, looking back on history is, history, right? So some of this information should be pretty good. What are all these things here? It's interesting. Introducing a major new video series. Okay. By the looks of it, that might have been VHS. Of course, in 1993, it probably was. Cortes, Conquest of the Aztec Empire. One thing I do like about magazine war games is the fact that they have like these articles, these context articles that you can read up on the background of the situation before you actually play the situation. And because that's the main reason why I play these games, is for the historical context and trying to learn a little bit more about it. So I really like these magazines that have articles that kind of give you some of that background. Now, not all articles are created equal, but for the most part, I mean, these are these are pretty good. I mean, they're going to give you some good information on this. And so that's a pretty long article there. Then Blood for Oil. This is Quest for Fuel in World War II. That's interesting. Here's the Axis fuel sources. I'll definitely probably read that, especially since I'm getting ready to play some Stalingrad 42, which will be part of that. Part of the maps are getting down to the Caucasus, where the oil was at. So, typical fare here. As I say, you can probably pick these up still at, I said I got this off Noble Knight. Noble Knight's pretty good at keeping these, some of these on hand, and you just got to watch prices. Sometimes they can get a little crazy, and sometimes you also want to see if something is punched or unpunched or magazine only and stuff like that. This one was unpunched, so it's got the map, the counters, and the rules, and that's what I like to get on these. Here's Sword of Allah. So, beginning the Muslim expansion here. This is pretty cool. I like reading up on this period as well. Don't have a ton of sources on this, so this is always something good to read at. So this is a nice little bonus for me out of this magazine. And quite a long article here. Who's the author of this article? Because they're going into a lot of the major battles of that period. Jim Bloom. So I'm going to definitely read that article. And I like how they kind of laid out and then set the situation of the battle and then have a little blurb about it. It's all good for me. And the rest, I think, is going to be the summer of 42. Forgot about that. This is the Axis invasion of Malta. So interesting stuff. Now, there's all games on this stuff now. I just did a piece on the Muslim expansion, which is kind of a miniatures or stand-up type thing. And you get some articles. There you have it. So that is the magazine, and they're advertising the new SPQR, but this is when SPQR just came out. So that's the magazine command. I'll probably end up putting that on the shelf. Here's the rules that you get, and then you get a counter sheet. This is, see, still unpunched. Look at that. There's Cortes. That's kind of cool. Then you got some bonus counters here. This is Poland 39 and Berlin 45, which I don't have either one of those, I don't think. So there you have the counters, dual-sided, kind of thin, which was kind of on par for magazine games of that era. But they're decent size. They're not the smallest size counters. I'll look at the map last. Let's take a look at the rules here. So I like having these rules separate. There's Poland 39 and Berlin 45, which there's some extra counters for it right here. So it looks like we've got doesn't have a page number on it. So I don't know what don't know how long the rules are here. I normally turn to the back and get the page count. Oh no, maybe here it is, 20. So it's like there's 26 pages of rules in this, but looks like there's a lot of advertisement and other miscellaneous content in the middle here. So that's not a full accounting of the rules. Here's your explanation of the counters. Here's the Spanish side and the Aztec side. So it's triple column, black and white, but there are some gray notes, gray boxes for notes. Like here's a beginner notes, old hand notes. So historical note here, design note here. So all the notes are kind of in a gray box. Stacking, movement, you know that old fare. Combat. Here's an example of combat. Leaders here. Redeployment and recovery. Optional rules. And then here's your charts. Now this is one of the kind of the bad things about some of these magazine games is they tended to put all the charts in the rules themselves are in the magazine. So you're going to have to make a copy of this or pull this out. This is in the very middle, so you might be able to pull this out if you want to have these 2 pages here. This is the rule summary and then your main charts. I haven't looked at the map yet. Sometimes a lot of the decision games, magazine games, they try to put all the charts and everything on the map itself, which is so you don't have to pull stuff out of the magazine. Now the rest of this looks like this is by Ty Bomba. This is just miscellaneous stuff here. So this is more magazine content that they put in the rules themselves. So there you have it. So the rules themselves are right around 12 pages. So not too horrible there. So let's take a look at the map here, see what we have. And I might have to go up Periscope for this. Ooh, it's a long one. It does not want to flip out. Let's go. I'm going to go long ways here so we can see a little bit better of it here. See what we have here. So we've got, so you have the mainland, and then you have the lake, and then the island fortress, and then the attacks are along these main avenues, and then you kind of some areas here. I imagine there's boats, maybe, but these are the causeways. So there's 4 causeways, and then you have some areas, lake areas. And you've got a little bit of stuff here on the outside here. It's kind of cool. Anyway, that is what you get in a magazine bag of Command issue number 20 that has the game Cortes in it. So you get a magazine that has some decent, some good articles in there, some pretty long articles, and they all look relatively interesting to me. And since they're historical, they still should be worth reading. You get your rules, which is called the game supplement. So you're going to get your rules and your charts, and then you're going to get your counters and the map. You're going to have to supply your own dice. If this game needs that, which I imagine with a combat chart it probably does. Anyway, that's what you get in Command issue number 20. Love to know what you think about this one. If you've had this one, it's been around for a while, right? This isn't a new release, 1993. If you've played this, I'd love to know your thoughts about it. If you've are just a fan of Command Magazine or have some Command magazines and want to talk about that, love to hear that as well. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Thanks for stopping by, and have a good one. Thanks for watching.